All right, what is going on, everyone? It's October 14th. This is the first SharpMoney live stream. We've done this a few times, but we get a new show for you today. It's sponsored by NoVig. I don't know about you guys. Real excited about the sponsorship. One of the best betting exchanges out there. Now that we have the sponsorship, I think we can all quit our jobs and be content creators. What do you guys think?
Sounds great.
Y'all didn't do that already?
Yeah, right. Anyway, we got Sigma Squirrel twice on the screen. The second one is actually Jay's plays there. But I'll run you guys through what we're going to look at for this show. We got 4 different segments today. Number 1, which will be led by Sigma. We'll be talking about just some industry news. Sigma is pretty tapped into, all the business side of things, the regulations, the tax stuff, how the exchanges and other markets are doing. So he'll lead that kind of segment. Number 2, we'll have a segment of our best plays of the day. Plays that hopefully you can still get the right prices, but the market is starting moving that way. Number 3 will be our sharp tip of the day. It's going to be a tip that you can use in, betting strategies, but also kind of relates to real life examples as well. So I think that'll be some good talking points for us. And all these segments are kind of new, so we might work in new ones, see how they go. The last segment, this will be probably a larger chunk of the time. We'll switch over to the SharpMoney Plus EV bot, and we will find some live plays and hit some bets on stream and just talk about, our bot in general and how it works. So a lot of people in the chat. Thank you guys for joining. Let's dive into this. What's up with you guys?
Jay, you want to take it away? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all doing today? We're just hanging in there. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming to stop by. I know we've done a couple iterations of office hours, but this is the new and improved, so I really hope y'all are here to enjoy it. Thank you for interacting.
I spent a lot of time with these graphics too. So
thank you for that too.
Yeah, Dime put in the time on this. Yeah, big thank you to NoVig for sponsoring this, and we're excited for the community to have opportunity to dive into topics, try and go around the world in what's going on in sports betting, and give you some news, give you some plays, hopefully sharpen the tools. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, we'll lead us off with some. You said it was a big week for news. So what are we looking at here? What are the top stories?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's 3 stories this week I want to highlight. But take a step back. If you're to look at one week in the evolution of this business and point to it and say, wait a second, this was kind of a big deal of a week. Last week, and even the week before, that whole run. I mean, we've been on a heck of a run. There are 3 things I want to talk about and let listeners know about. Number 1, and this just happened. Gavin Newsom, governor of California, signed a bill that was on his desk banning the sweepstakes casino model in the state of California. Now, that is arguably bad for sweeps models. Our sponsor notwithstanding. These are exceptional products consumers want. They're good. They're good for the consumer. They're good for efficiency. You get more people involved. The pricing's tight. These are good products. And unfortunately, California, effective January 1st, is going to be the newest state to ban the model. And so, New Jersey, Michigan, Louisiana, potentially California is added to that list. So it's, a big part of the addressable market. It's unfortunate.
I'll cut in here and ask a question because it's something that's been on my mind. With all these sweepstakes bans happening throughout the states, who's leading who's benefiting the most from these bans? Is it the operators, or is it the state regulators that they're not getting this taxable income on sports betting? Or I know even this California was Indian tribal rights. So
That's right.
obviously, so there's a mixture of all three, but who do you think is the biggest one of those three that is pushing to ban these? Who does it benefit the most to get these banned?
It depends. The politics are different by state. California gaming is dominated by tribal politics. And it's the reason you don't see the regulated recreational books operating in California, because the tribes have a lock on the market. And that's, I'm not saying it's thawing out, but it's fairly calcified. They got a long political road, ahead of them if they're going to change that. State of Michigan was about consumer protection. But at the end of the day, it's a tax issue. I mean, your sweeps do not count in, against gross gaming receipts that the tax formulas are using. And, at the end of the day, it's consumer protection, but it's really about the money, like just about everything else. And so, the regulators don't want sports betting operating outside of their purview, where it can be taxed and coerced, as it were. Now, there's some important functions regulators serve in terms of consumer protection, and where do you go if you've got an issue, you got to raise it on a payout or something like that. You don't have those protections with sweeps models, but I think consumers have decided they're perfectly comfortable with that. But there's government for you.
Yep.
So which begs the question, as far as the sweeps model goes, a state by state slow death is obviously coming. And so where that leads is really to my next topic. Last week was, G2E, which is the, Global Gaming Expo, Las Vegas, every year. And every year they have, the CEOs of the large recreational books get on a panel and talk about the state of the business. And the state of the business was all about prediction markets last week. That's all anybody wanted to talk about. The year before, it was the sweepstakes casinos and sports books. This year, it's prediction markets, which tells you just how quickly our industry is moving. And, you could almost watch in real time Jason Robbins, the CEO of DraftKings, speak and watch DraftKings stock just get punched in the throat over the course of the entire time he was speaking, because he seemed to be dismissing the viability of the model and kind of discounting the risk it faces, facing his business. And I think that's kind of head in sand thinking. And so the second big story was Flutter and DraftKings stock either went on sale or presaged oncoming decline, depending on your point of view on that. But that was big. That was big. And then third, the other thing that happened in the middle of G2E literally was that Kalshi decided that they were going to launch combos or parlays in their platform. So that happened, the morning of that session, and it was really interesting. Which leads me to my third point, which is the technology innovation in this market is massive. I mean, last week, Profit Exchange announced their RFQ protocol for pricing parlays. They've made that available. You've got to talk to them about it, but this is all moving so fast. Whereas last year, the conversation was, what do I do if I'm limited? And as we sit here, it's like we talk a lot about that, particularly, with our VIP community. It's like, all right, your models have me limited. We beat the books, we killed them. Now I'm limited. I can't get down anywhere. What do I do? This year, it's like, it's not exactly the issue now. The conversation among the RecSharp community has shifted to, how do I navigate these multiple business models? And I think it's great. I think we're in a golden age, to be quite frank. And I'm very excited about it. But there's your week in sports betting.
I agree with you. I think we are in a golden age right now. We kind of have a way for everybody to get down. You know, the sports books they have their square bettors doing the parlays, and now we have a way for the sharper bettors to actually get down. The sharper bettors now have a way, and whenever exchanges came, it was a big change to the game. But I think now with prediction markets, sports books might be in trouble in the future, and that refers back to DraftKings stock plummeting. I had to sell my shares, but yeah, it was. It just shows that Kalshi and exchanges are they're just taking over. You know, it's the new way. It's changing so fast, and even the Sharp Money Discord. If you were in here a year ago to where we are now, it has just grown so much and so fast. I think this space is forever changing, and you always have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I do feel like the exchanges and prediction markets is a very different product than their traditional retail book, and I think it's a different user base as well. Like, you know, I just don't know. I don't think the exchanges appeal to rec bettors that have a DraftKings or a FanDuel account, and I also don't know if Kalshi or Polymarket really draw someone in like that too, because they don't have the promos, they don't have the boost, all the extra deposit matches that the retail books can offer. So I feel like yes, they're fighting over the same customers, but at the same time, like, just because, you know, NoVig and Kalshi are here doesn't mean I'm going to bet more or less on DraftKings necessarily.
Right. I think it opens up the market, you know, for the lone wolf rec sharp bettor who's lost all of their access. You know, maybe the best they've got is a 10% FanDuel account, and everywhere else is nuked. You have life. I mean, right before that, I mean, if you wanted to keep going, you know, you're going down the team and partnerships route. You got to do the work to scale and figure it out and work with others. And, you know, that's a well-worn path and a very successful and proven one, but it takes work and scale. But if you're an individual rec sharp, you know, lone wolf, you know, price shopper, EV, top-down EV bettor, this gives you life. Anyone can go on NoVig and make a price and see if you get a taker.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Well, everyone except for me, because Louisiana doesn't have exchanges.
Well, I think
unless you live in Louisiana.
Yeah, you guys are in, I think, 2 of the 8 states that you can't bet sweepstakes right now, which really sucks for you guys.
It's terrible.
For me, it was like, yeah, once NoVig came around, and I mean, the pricing is getting better and better every single day as well. We'll shout out NoVig again, but their pricing over Kalshi right now is like, it's so much better. We're talking about like 10 cents difference on both sides of the line. I think Kalshi will eventually, you know, tighten up, but still NoVig is great. And I stopped betting props for a long time because I was, you know, that guy who I didn't want to open up, you know, accounts for my dad. I didn't want to open up accounts for my sister. I wanted to keep it simple, bet my own accounts. And now I can, on my P1s, the only thing I can really bet into is FanDuel at 10% limits. And then I got NoVig to get down as much as possible. So my whole, you know, goal going forward now is, and it's been my goal for past 6 months, is learn how to make money on these exchanges, because if you can do that, there's really no stopping to you of how far you can scale. And on retail books, you are always limited. Even if you were the best bettor, there's always a cap depending on how many accounts you want to open up. But
yeah, no, well said. It what's most exciting to me is it opens up these new pathways, and really the only advice is get in there and swim. You know, just go swim in it. Go make some orders. See what gets filled. Learn about toxic order flow and adverse selection. Yeah. You know, when your whole stake gets scooped in one order and you're like, I just got took. You know, go through and learn it and feel it and get a feel for the markets. The NFL trades, you know, there's low volatility. You know, WNBA, you know, as I said earlier this year, you know, watching a WNBA line settle is like 2 cats in a bag. Like it's kind of all over the place. They're fun. It's fun to figure it out. Pick a sport, pick a niche, and just start messing around with it.
Yeah. Peyton brought up a good question here, and this has kind of been talked about on Twitter today, and we were even discussing it right before we got on. But these softwares showing you how much liquidity is on the exchanges like NoVig and ProfitX, it says it doesn't really make sense to him, and how does it differentiate? And I feel like there's a couple. I feel like it is useful in certain ways, especially like the prop markets, where if someone posts a line out there that has value to FanDuel, and it's a $5,000 bet, which basically they probably tapped out their whole FanDuel account and then posted it. Like those are bets I would take. But I think even Captain Jack mentioned today that I think the sharps are going to start realizing that tools are out there and being able to kind of manipulate lines through the exchanges. So I'd be careful, but I think props are kind of safe if people are posting that much money and it's within like the ballpark of where the retail books are sitting on prices. But that's all kind of new. I haven't thought about it too much recently.
Yeah, it's the right question to ask. I mean, the point, Captain Jack's was dead on today with his post on X about this. It's like, previously you'd have to actually click a max limit on a low limit line to manipulate a market like a college basketball total. But now you can just post massive liquidity, 20 cents off the price on the side, you don't want. And, your odds jam tool or whatever is going to pick it up and say, bet the opposite side. Well, that's the fastest way to get your preferred side filled. It's going to be a mess. I tend to agree with Captain Jack on this one. I don't. When sport trade whale alerts were a thing, a couple of years ago, those gave you some information, but I feel like people are onto this already.
Yeah, I feel like the sharper bettors are going to start masking themselves. The whole thing about it is not trying to show the books that you're sharp. Well, we're doing whenever you go peer to peer, posting a big $5,000 bet will show that, hey, this guy may be sharp, or that's what we can assume. This may be a person with a lot of money that is willing just to lose a lot of money, and you can't really differentiate. And that's what gets so hard compared to the normal books with Circa and Bookmaker. We know that they can flag certain bettors and move their lines off of what they believe is a sharper bettor. So I personally am not a fan of having a tool that will just flag liquidity on a big bet.
I mean, real sharp. I mean, look, if you have a scaled bankroll and are actually exercising proper risk management when you're trading markets, you're going to scale into positions. You're not going to fire all your dry powder into one order and risk, toxic flow, putting you upside down, and you can't, or the line moving on a snap injury or something you just haven't accounted for, and then you're stuck holding a bag. I mean, I think, the sharp flow in these exchanges, their number one skill is risk management. I mean, that's the number one skill as a market maker is risk management. I just don't buy that this is a signal. It may be in spots, but it feels like if I want to tell everyone what I think is a good bet, this is a great way to give away the side I want. And I don't know that after all the work it takes to do that math, I want to tell the market what I think is the right side of a bet. I kind of want to, I want to bite it off a bite at a time, the same way a hedge fund will peel off, a stock order in bits over the course of days. I mean, you scale into it over the week.
Yep. This is the kind of stuff that I love about this industry right now with all these different tools and markets popping up. It's like you're always solving something or figuring out something. It's like, all right, now, Odds Jam thinks they have it figured out by flagging this sharp money. And now the sharp bettors know, all right, people are starting to look at this. Like, how do we use this to our advantage? And then, so, if you see 10K posted liquidity, they posted that there knowing that there's a lot of eyes on it. So they might post it for a reason now. So it's just interesting. It's cool.
I think it's a lot of naked territory that hasn't been experienced, and it's so new. There's so many edges that people are learning and experiencing. Just make sure you always stay on your feet and you always stay diligent in your attacking.
Yeah.
Now go ahead.
If you're beating the closing line at the end of the day on main markets, maybe it's working. Figure out what works. That's your real indicator. So
that's right. I mean, you can have fun on the prediction market platforms, messing around with limit orders and watching how the book, how the makers have their liquidity, what their algorithms are, for hanging around the bid ask spread. So you can mess around with limit orders and literally watch the penny jumping algorithms move off your limit order changes in real time. It's kind of fun to figure that stuff out. And I'll just leave it at that because I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about this in the future.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to the next segment, which is going to be kind of look ahead spot. We each brought a pick on to the show. Each week, we're each going to send out a pick. We'll track. I want to put on to you guys to when you send this play out, track it and see where it closes. We're going to keep track of kind of the closing line value we sent out along with the record, obviously each week. So, who wants to go first in the play they got?
I'll take it. I'll take a stab at what I got. Okay, so we're going to be coming with the NFL play. So all of my bets will be found from the SharpMoney bot. That's really the only service that I use, so that's where I find all my bets. This play was pinged earlier today. The Minnesota Vikings plus +0.5 spread in the first half. This was at minus 112 on DraftKings whenever I took it a few hours ago. I think this is just a good spot. Bookmaker has been moving. This opened at +1, and Bookmaker was moving in favor for 3 days now. They opened the line on the 12th. That was a good sign that I like to see. And I also went to look, and I was actually watching the Giants and Eagles game, and Quinyon Mitchell got injured, and he didn't come back in. And Wan'Dale Robinson and Lil Jordan Humphreys were just doing very good versus the backup cornerbacks. Ringo and Jackson, they struggle very bad. Let's just say that. And I think the Eagles also feel like if Quinyon Mitchell doesn't come out, then they're probably toast. Minnesota has good wide receivers; they can catch him on the deep ball. I think this is where I'm going to go. Philadelphia lost the last 2 games. Minnesota has been very consistent this year so far, average of 20, 24 points. I think we could see that. I think they can cover the first half.
I grabbed some Minnesota money lines and some Minnesota spreads last couple of days as well. So the market's definitely been steaming towards Minnesota. So that play was Minnesota Vikings minus a half point.
No, plus 0.5.
No, plus 0.5. That's a big difference in the first half, minus 112 on DraftKings. All right, Sigma, you want to take this next one?
Yeah, an early mover. I'm not going to talk ball like Jay did. This is pure early line movement. I got Jacksonville +3 minus 105 at FanDuel. That was it was an hour and 10 minutes ago. So I'm looking at where we are right now. I think it's where's FanDuel at on this? 115. All right, so it's moved 10 cents. I like the +3 because I make this game a field goal. You're giving Jacksonville 3 points. The market is hovering. The threes are hovering between now 113. You can get a 113
minus 105 on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's right there. And the reason I took it, so the bot flagged this one probably 2.5 hours ago. And it's early and ish in the week. So I just sat on it, watched it, for an hour to see what it would do. You comp it to Circa's the three's been at minus 120 since yesterday. It just are different, the normal books we look at tell us that this is probably going to settle 2.5. I would be surprised if Jacksonville was given a full 3 points. I think it, and in fact, I do see some 2.5s. So there's my early steamer. I think you see this game settle certainly below 3. I think it's a good bet at 3 on that key number. At 105 that's instant value if you pick it off. So go get after it, boys.
Yeah. I'm on the unabated website, and it's actually flagging the DraftKings minus 105 as value to their DVIG method, which is mostly Circa Bookmaker Pinnacle, kind of like ours. So
you don't see too any prices that are trading below the unabated's consensus line. That's a deal. That's 2%. You're 2%ish right off the top. Just go.
All right,
Jay. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say. I think Sunday I took Jackson right after their game. The opener pinged it, and I grabbed +3 at +100, and I grabbed some money line, which both are now 5% in favor, which is good to see. But I love that. I love to beat the hook. That goes back to our office hours a little while ago, where we say, you know, the key numbers in football, just playing over the 3 and over the 7 are a big thing for me.
Yeah, that 2.5 versus 3 is massive. So, all right.
Yeah, we've got some listeners say, some of our
3.5.
members on the 3.5. 3.5 is better than 3. I mean, it. I don't think it moves much below 2. I think difference between 2 and 2.5 is not as valuable. Grab a 3 while you can.
Yep. All right. So I'm sharing a play that I already shared with the SharpMoney VIP. This is one of my running back projections for Thursday Night Football. Right now, we're sitting at a record of 51-30 on my running back projections with an 18% ROI, up over 15 units already this year. And this was kind of a gross one, and I had to really talk myself into this one. Or not really talk myself into it, but I had to really go through the process of like why I like this play, and it sounded better. So going Chase Brown over 41.5 rushing yards for the Bengals. They're dead last in rushing yards a game with 3.1. It's terrible.
Sell me on this one, man. You got to sell me.
It is absolutely bottom of the barrel right now for these guys. We have who the hell did I didn't write down who are they even playing this week? Pittsburgh. They're ranked 11th in defensive yard per carry, so a little better than league average. But what I'm seeing here is the Bengals have ran the ball on average 18 times a game this year, when the league average is like 35% higher. And if they just regress back to a normal league average, like running, passing scheme, then this is a really good chance of hitting the over. What I will say is last week they threw the ball 45 times with Joe Flacco. And the week before that, 40 plus attempts with Jake Browning. And I just don't picture them. They played the Vikings and the Packers, so they were terrible game scripts, and they had to throw the ball all the time. The other thing that's kind of skewed here is Samaje Perine has been getting a decent amount of carries, but that's because he's kind of their passing back, their third down back. So he's been in the game way more than normal. Against the Steelers, it's a 5.5 point spread. It's a tighter game than the last few they've been playing in, where these numbers I think are just kind of massively skewed. So I think all they need to do is put together 1 or 2 good drives where they can just move the ball and run the ball a couple times. I think they're going to have no problem here. So even though they've had the worst running game in the league, he has gone over this 4 out of the last 6 games as well. So even with bad game scripts going against top defenses, 5 out of their 6 games this year have also been against a better than league average defense. So they're only playing good defenses. Also probably one of the reasons that all their stats are so low. So if they can just keep this game within 10, run the ball more than like 18 times, which they have been, I really think that he can hit this over, and he should be seeing like 60% of the work for this running back group. So that's my play. I posted this at 41.5 on FanDuel. FanDuel bumped up to 42.5. It's still good there. I wouldn't chase this past another yard or two, to be honest. Pinnacle opened 42.5 as well. So I have it at 41.
Hey, look, nobody here is going to argue with your projections, dude. You have been out of the gate. I'm just like, my man is cooking this year. I mean, what's your record on the season through week 6?
It was 50-30, I think.
Okay, that's legit. That's very good, man. Very, very good.
30.
Beating 85% of the closing totals on these props. I mean, it's impressive. So Chad says $0 quiddy on NoVig over 41.5. Chad, go on NoVig and make a market. Rob, do you want to tell him how to do that?
Yeah. So honestly, for making the market on, actually, I could pull up my screen and we could do this. I could do this right now.
Yes, let's show them live.
Okay. So I'll make this market, and I'm going to use unabated to give me a good idea here. So
real quick, I was going to say a good breakdown. I feel a little bit better about taking the bet. This is one of them times where I was kind of happy I was limited.
on the Chase Brown play.
Yeah.
I was not, like, when I'm looking at the problem is I still was projecting him over with like these terrible numbers. So I'm like, I can't. I feel like it's buying low, like as low as it goes. Like
it's got to be almost the floor. I mean, you're throwing 40 times a game. Come on, Flacco.
Yeah, like that's not working. Let's try something different. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here.
Do you need to go to the 3 people in screen view?
Yes, I'm about to swap over to that.
Oh yeah, look
I
at you.
almost did it. All right, so it's a couple. All right, that's what we want to see. All right, so I'm probably going to post this 42.5. If you see here, FanDuel has 42.5 minus 114. A lot of people use FanDuel as their DVIG. So over 42.5 is probably the number I'm looking for. And we can probably post this at a much better price. So let's go over to rushing yards. Over 42.5 right now. There's not much liquidity on both sides. We're going to be the best number here. So I could go bet this on FanDuel at minus 114, or we could go over here and create a number, which I think will get filled pretty instantly. Like I said, a lot of people use FanDuel as their DVIG book. So what I will do is I'm going to go over to the make side. I'm going to take a much better price than FanDuel. Chase Brown over 42.5 rushing yards. I'm going to throw in 1 unit for me. And it's going to post a plus 105. So we're going to be top of the market here. And if anyone on a plus EV tool uses FanDuel Sharp as a DVIG, we're going to pop up as about a 2% edge to them. So this is what I do all the time, especially before game time. You can get a lot of good fills like this. So that's how you make a market on NoVig. Using our bot later, we'll go into some more plays like that. But that's my logic when I'm posting these. Sometimes if I'm posting a number where my projection has value to like MGM or ESPN, like something soft, I'll add juice to the line instead of subtract juice. But when I'm going up against like a sharper book, like Pinnacle had that number as well, then I can post a more aggressive number for myself.
That's a very good breakdown.
All right, I'll switch back over to our other screen here. All right, sweet. So those are our 3 plays. Quick little recap. We have Jay going with the Vikings first half plus half a point, minus 112 on DraftKings. Not sure if that number was still there or not. Sigma went with Jags plus 3, minus 105 on DraftKings. And I have Chase Brown. We'll call it over 42.5 on NoVig or FanDuel, whichever one you got of that.
So next week we won't track the win-loss. We're going to track where the line closed. I think that's
a little bit of, I think both. We'll just say,
great.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the next segment, which is our betting/life tip of the week. So this tip is going to be to think in probabilities and not absolutes. So this is probably the first step you take as a profitable bettor, changing your mindset a little bit. A lot of rec bettors, they say the Patriots are winning this game today. The Bills are losing that game. They suck. It's absolute. So there's no like if or. It's like this is a guarantee, the locks, like all that stuff. That's the mindset of the absolutes. You do not want to think in absolutes at all. You want to say, hey, the Patriots have a 52% chance of winning today, and the line is set at plus 100. And, we have an edge there. So you have to start thinking in probabilities. Once you start doing that, nothing surprises you. Like there's teams that, minus 500, whatever that probability equals. You're like, oh, they have a 20% chance of losing. It could happen. And when crazy stuff happens, it's just part of the probabilities and nothing shocks you anymore. So my real life example of this, and this is something that I was bad at. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up, because I'm in my gym, in my basement, and I've been on and off working out a lot and like doing dietary stuff. And I was always had an issue with thinking in absolutes, where if like I was on a diet and I ate, maybe like a little bag of chips one day, I was like, well, my day's ruined. I just ruined the whole thing. Like I'm just going to eat bad the rest of the day. I'm thinking in absolutes, like my week's done. I cheated on my diet. It's over. In reality, I only probably took, 5% off my diet, but I just threw it out the door. So that's my little real life example that I'm sure some people can relate to, because it's kind of a common thing with the diet.
Yeah, that was the diet thing is very true. I'm coming at this with a little bit of a different angle, not just experiences. I just wanted to talk real quick. I just wanted to say the human brain is naturally wired to produce certainty. It's kind of the reason why people are content with living a quote unquote normal life. This is your 9 to 5 job, you go home, the basic typical life. This is certain. You work a job, you have an income, you know you won't be broke, but you also won't excel too far. You have a roof and you have a floor. You have to develop a state of mind that engages in a probabilistic way of thinking. You got to think about possibilities, pathways, develop patience, practice discipline. A lot of these things are not just good only for your life, but they also play a part into betting too. Going back to the first ever office hours, being disciplined. You got to be disciplined with your bankroll. You have to be consistent every day, disciplined to your craft. Don't take bets that are out of your view just because you want to have volume. That's kind of against what we preach over here. So make sure you stay disciplined there. Also having patience and knowing when the line is good. And also just making sure you're aware, whenever you have bets and you take a certain amount of bets, like now we're in week 8 of the NFL. I think this is a good time to check your sample size, see where you're bleeding, see if you're doing better in a different market. We finally have a few numbers to look at. So I think you should reevaluate and double check your bets you know, if you want to stay disciplined. And the other thing I want to say is we all can agree that hitting a parlay is a lot more fun than betting straights. And it's the same way in life. The best things in life are usually unplanned or they're a lot lower probability. So just take your calculated risk, and same thing with betting in life. Make sure you have your edge and you keep on pushing.
I like that a lot. Kind of the way we all started this was no one even knew each other, and some random guy, myself, reached out to a few of you guys asking you for some money to start building a product, and you guys shelled over that money not knowing if it was ever coming back. So it was, educated risks, right?
Hell yeah, that's why this group's the best. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been in software entrepreneur for a long time, and if all the biggest mistakes I've ever made came from when I was absolutely certain something was going to happen. I just knew it. I just knew. I said, this is what is going to work. This is what's going to work. This is what the market needs. This is the right answer. You're wrong. I'm right. Yes, not no. Like, it's always yielded a worse outcome than, I guess as I gain experience in life, let's call it that. What I've learned is a decision opens a door to another path. As long as you're opening doors that have a higher probability of going your way or not, just keep opening doors. It's going to lead to a whole other set of circumstances or decision points you never would have had access to if you hadn't just made the decision to see what happens. And so, for me, the question has always been, what happens if this goes right? Right? What happens if this goes right? And what happens if this doesn't go wrong? Am I going to go to zero or die? If the answer is no, I am more inclined to give it a shot. I mean, that's how I end up on this podcast with you, Dime.
Yep.
Because you reached out to me, and it's like, all right, well, I can move all this work over here or not, but like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Well, if I don't do it, I can have my crappy, little community, no offense to the OGs in the group, by the way, but I wasn't really aiming to do anything with it other than have some fun, shipping models. But I said yes, and here we are, and this has been great. And I appreciate the question very much.
I want to hear from the chat. What do we think about this segment? It's definitely a little bit different, but I enjoy hearing. It's a good conversation. I enjoy the different.
I wanted to go back to. Oh, sorry. You're going, Don?
You're good. I'm done.
Oh, I was just gonna say, going back to where Sigma started. The worst things are whenever you're certain. And man, I put Philadelphia on about 4 parlays last weekend, and they lost to the Giants by 20 points. It just nothing certain, man. They were 7.5 point spreads.
All right, we get a lot of. It's time to hop over to the Discord and look at some bets, and we have a lot of good bets popping up right now.
Yeah, it's popping. I've been watching this.
So let's move over. Peyton said loves it. He's 22, always looking for some advice. A lot of enjoy it. Great segment. All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. All right, let's hop over to.
Hey, thank you, Deshaun Walker. Love that. I'm
free
into that
screen.
stuff. So
All right, here's the bot. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more, but I'm already on this one quite a bit. This is the Cowboys versus Commanders. We have
Mm-hmm.
the Dallas Cowboys here on DraftKings, plus 120 for the money line.
yes,
It's a
I'm
2.2% edge to three of our DVig books. Circa sitting at 107. Pinnacle 108 and Bookmaker 106. Not only is this a 2% edge, but this market just got absolutely tanked. If you see here, I can click on it. This is perfect, actually. This white line is the indicator of the Pinnacle limits. And if the right side of the chart shows what the limit is at. So it was at 50K, and then Pinnacle bumped up to 10,000K, which means this is the amount of money that they're willing to accept from anyone that is on their book. When you see a limit go up and Pinnacle odds drop, it's a good indicator that SharpMoney was waiting for the limit to increase to go hit it. So pink line is Pinnacle. So you see them priced at this plus 120 mark and get priced all the way down to that plus 108. And then you see the same thing. Circa came from plus 125 down to 106. Bookmaker almost peaked at 123 down to 106 as well. So this bet is at plus 120 on DraftKings. You can see all the books moved off that number pretty heavily. So this is a play that we definitely want to take. We see Jay's plays and math wins go there. I'll try to hit this real quick. I might have already hit this, and I'm pretty capped on DraftKings for what I can bet. And it moved to plus 114 anyway. Jay, did you just hit that for plus 120?
So let's go into talking about fair value. I see. No, I did hit this bet actually after it moved. So I did hit this at 114. I'm just buying heavy into the steam. I think I don't know, I see them books, they double down at 110, 112. And I didn't put anything heavy on it just for a little bit. I do think that this line will keep moving in our favor.
Look at this. Look at this right now. This is a perfect
Look at that. Look
example
at that
of NoVig.
market. Heck yeah.
We have a 1 penny spread. Look at this. We have over $1,000 on both sides from plus 120 to minus 122. I mean, this is what makes NoVig so great. So we flagged us at plus 120 on DraftKings as value, and I'll take it at plus 121. Not going $600. I already have some money on this, so I'm going a little less than half unit there and taking it. So I got an even better price on NoVig, which is great. The market is so tight. We're 1 cent apart, and with almost $1,000 on each side of the line. And this game is, we got 5 days left for this game to start. This is
Yeah.
wild.
Well, my Bears is the price drop. It's the reason they were. The Commanders better get McLaurin and Noah back, or it's going to be rough.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Here you go, Sigma. You can talk about this one.
All right, I'm gonna try and read this. Here, hold up. Let me make screen bigger. Okay, yeah. All right, here we go. Live. Here you go. Moneyline. What time did this ship? That was this morning. Okay.
7:06. So it's been up for an hour. Is it still?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was after I grabbed that 3. All right. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, the money line's gonna track the spread. Here you've got the trifecta. You've got all of your sharp books on a down slope down and to the right. You got a limit increase. You got further movement on that limit increase. It's easy for me. I mean, I also like Jacksonville in this spot. Generally, 3 points or less, I'm going to look at a money line. I mean, I don't like betting money lines, much past 3.5 points versus just taking the points. But there you go. It hit 10 and you got a 10 cent, just about 10 cent move, a bookmaker. That's an easy yes for me.
Like Braxton said, Puka might be hurt. I think he had a hamstring injury last game. I also wanted to say, our graphs are now showing, 96 hours. So if you look at this has, as soon as this line opened, it got hit. I feel like immediately the sharper people felt like, hey, this line is mispriced. And that was 3 days ago. So just seeing this direction over 3 days is just, to me, it's automatic. All three books dropping, limits going up. Now we're seeing 10,000, so we're getting to the double digits. It just feels right.
Yeah, what do you guys think about, and even the chat, what do you guys think about the longer charts? We used to only do, I think, 12-hour periods to really only like zoom in on, the most recent line movements, but now you get a whole picture of the whole market. I mean, we're looking at this 3 days out, you see 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Every day it's basically gone more and more in favor of the Jags. I was able to get
Dimes,
that
go
$150.
to. They have a DraftKings Jets under that I like. If you want to just cover that one.
Is that DraftKings?
Yeah, Jets under 42.5 versus Carolina.
Yep. All right. This is a good one to kind of show our whole bot too. So a little different than our other bot, or the other spreads weren't really showing up that much for movement, but this is the Jets and Panthers game under 42.5 for this total here. And the only book that has the actual line at 42.5 is Pinnacle, and they have it at minus 121 plus 103. And that's where these EV calcs are coming from. It comes from the DVIG books listed here. So what we do on top of showing you the DVIG books, we show you where Circa and Bookmaker are also priced, even when they're not priced the same as the book we're taking on. So you can see the general movement of the market and just see where their numbers currently are sitting. So if we look here, Circa has their line at 41.5, and we're getting for minus 110. So not only are we getting a better price than Circa at minus 105, we're also getting a better number. So clear value to Circa here. And Bookmaker is the same way. They have under 41.5 minus 113. We take that extra number and we take the better price here. If you want to take it one step further, look at the Pinnacle chart. Clear movement the last 3 days towards the under. We're at 5K limits for totals, which is relatively high for totals. I don't know if they get maybe like 20, 15K max bets there, but this is, a very good play for sure. So I'm going to go click this one. Under 42.5, I'll go $83 is my max bet. How are you guys' DraftKings limits? Or anyone in the chat? Who's on a limited account? Did anyone get more or less than me there?
My DraftKings is hit or miss. I guess it's closer to game time. Of course, limits get higher. Really markets, but my DraftKings is pretty fine. Some NFL I can get up over 300-400, but that's it though. I think my limit is like 430. That was the most I got down.
Scanning through some other plays here.
See, there's a Minnesota Vikings.
So this is kind of far out. Don't look
What is that?
It's a college. Houston, Arizona, under 46.5 minus 110. Very small EV. Too far out for me.
Yeah, college totals on Tuesday. No.
Yeah, that is far out. It is a very nice size drop, and I think I actually played this bet. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because Circa opened up at 45, went up to 47, and then came back down to 46. Maybe they opened low, but Bookmaker opened at 47 and went to 46. So I see it as these books are agreeing with this 46 price. I don't like just a half a point for the same price.
Here's a Titan spread, which it's another one where it's just an alt line that has value to Pinnacle. We're talking about a 0.5% edge, which is the lowest that our bot will flag. The reason I love playing a lot of these low edges, but they have to be really good looking plays. We don't see much movement from Circa or Bookmaker here. Pinnacle is only at like $6,000 limit, or no, they actually dropped their limits down to $1,000. I don't know you don't see this too often when the limit decreases. So injury news, were they waiting on probably?
I believe it's usually from injury uncertainty.
Or do we know who the coach is for the Titans yet?
I mean, does it matter if every player on the Titans could get injured and replaced with all of us, and this line would not move? I mean, it doesn't matter. The team is not serviceable at all.
Yeah.
Peyton Peyton asks, would you guys say Circa is sharper than Pinnacle for NFL, or does it depend whether it's a money line spread or total? I'll take this first. I don't play a difference between money line. Actually, I do. Money lines and spreads, I'm a little more confident in than totals, even though for MLB this year, totals have been better. I kind of keep that same thought for all four major sports. I personally do like to see Circa agreeing or moving in agreement with the line that I'm taking. If Circa is moving in the opposite direction or has not moved at all, I usually won't take it, or I'll need a big move to take it if they're flat. Circa is pretty tough to move. They don't move as much as Bookmaker and Pinnacle, so whenever I see them move, I kind of take it with a little bit more meaning.
I take their Circa's early moves don't matter as much as their late moves. I mean, by their own very public admission in different pods and posts and whatever, they'll just put a number up, see what happens early. They'll move numbers and see if they get bet into. And so, Circa moving by itself, I never really think about it. But if they're confirmatory of a move that looks like it's happening, it matters more. And for me personally, the NFL is such a massive, highly liquid market that I don't need to see where Circa is. If I see, Pinnacle or Bookmaker moving, I'm generally, with a limit increase, I'm inclined to take a deeper look at that. I'll probably look at another couple of offshores and just, look at it. But for NCAA, if Circa's moving, that's the one I care about, honestly. That's their jam.
Yeah, I agree with you there. For college, I have to be in alignment with Circa. There's no if.
Looking at your email, Rob.
That's my number one there.
Rob, your Gmail's on.
Oh, my bad. Let's go back to the Discord. I was like, I didn't send you an email. What are you talking about? I'm about to pull up a play on NoVig here. This tennis play. So this is what I do quite often. I don't have access to Hard Rock, but what I'll do is I'll find EV plays on some of our other channels and then post them. So Benjamin Bonzi here, -115 money line. I'll go and just post this. We got good steam towards Benjamin here. And I don't have this on Hard Rock. I mean, I don't have Hard Rock, so I'm going to post it. And this, so these are smaller markets. So obviously
look at the order book on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like there's probably one market maker that just posts both sides. Not really the best number. I don't think too many manual trades are getting posted in here, but, so Hard Rock had -115, fair value is 118. So that's the number I could post it up to. I'm going to post it at 115. I'm going to create a really good spot on the other side of the board for someone who would want it. So I'm going to be way ahead of, I'm going to be top of the book by a mile. Orders like these that are a couple days out, I always just throw a couple hours on them for them to expire. I don't want to get adversely selected if something happens. Doesn't look like I can move this. So let's just put 1 hour on it. So I'm just going to have that set out there for an hour and hopefully someone grabs it within the hour.
There you go.
You said all of your plays to expire within an hour? Sorry, I missed the last thing you said.
Depends on the market, especially like if I'm like, so when I do my running back stuff, I just let them go.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
top down,
yeah, like tennis can move so quick against you that I don't like to hang them too long. But if it was like a spread, like a day or two before, I'm probably leaving it out there for a few hours at least. But I do like to put timers on. I know some people don't even use timers. I've done really well. So
yeah, what you just said is such a great tip for anyone listening who's looking at exploring, making sides on NoVig. Find a low liquidity, low traffic market like tennis. Use our bots. It will tell you, it'll give you guidance, and go play with it. Go experiment. Specialize in something and just see what you learn. Play in the tennis markets for a week, doing what you just saw a dime do. Look at the order book, look at the price, look at our graphs, look at the data, and see what you can get done. I think you'd be surprised at how much you can get down in a week on a tennis market on NoVig.
Oh yeah, if you put the time in on NoVig, you can get so many fills. It's crazy. Here's a play that I might look at. This is Arizona plus 1.5 on. It's a Canby book. Just a clear direction towards Arizona here. Circa actually has them as a favorite, -1, and Bookmaker has them getting +1 but -114.
Where you at? Is that Rivers?
Yeah, Canby bet Rivers. So I'm gonna look at this
Arizona 1.5. Let's think. I haven't. It's been so long since I tried to see what I can get down at a Canby book.
Oh, it's probably. I don't even load the book up anymore.
College is going to be probably very low, but their NFL lines, they've been. I think they took down 85 or 90 from me, which for me that's still playable. I'll play that, but once you start getting under that, it's not really worth it.
Oh, I missed. What was that? What was the play?
Arizona plus 1.5, -112.
Yeah.
Versus Houston. Hey, Peyton, I was just curious. Are you taking a lot of tennis? You said tennis has a lot of trap lines. I was just curious. Are these plays coming from DraftKings? DraftKings is something fishy with their tennis. I've
$6.49. $6.49 is my limit.
You'll get rich off of it.
Dude, I'm gonna rent. My God. Sorry.
The one thing I will say with like someone saying like trap lines is you typically, if you get your like lines reversed on you a lot, it's probably because there's movement without a limit increase. So like you always want to make sure that there's a limit increase and then a drop in odds. Let me find something that looks like fishier. What play is that?
Yeah, and I would say the limit increase to a material limit size, like anything.
True.
$2,000, you're okay. People aren't head faking tennis for $2,000 clicks, really. I mean, but for $500 a click, you can't. Anything under $1,000, I wouldn't trust it. You never know. I mean, tennis moves in for half hour before the match.
Not that this chart is moving that much, but this is kind of the example where like you don't even have a limit increase and you just see the line spike one way, drop the other way, spike the other way. Like that's not clear direction. I want to see like multiple limit increases happen and the line dive on every limit increase. That's what I call like clear steam. The rest of the stuff is kind of up to interpretation a little bit.
Hey, Dimes, go back to that graph real quick. One thing I also want to highlight is just make sure you're looking at the numbers on the left-hand side, the odds column. So this line here, if you zoom out, it's practically just a flat line, flipping from -101 to +101. That's all that was. No matter which way that move was, just in case it could have looked favorable, it really wasn't if the graph was flipped.
Yeah, this is a 3-cent scale.
Yeah. All right. I think we will wrap it up here. I'll say one thing. We have the link to join NoVig. If you haven't joined it yet, definitely check it out. They said there's penny markets on every NFL spread coming up to game time. So whether you're a rec better just looking to lose less money, or a profitable better looking to scale up and not get limited, then NoVig's perfect for you. We have a sign up link in the description. YouTube, I think it's on Twitch as well. If you use our link and use code SharpMoney, you'll get 10% back of your deposit up to $100. So basically, deposit $1,000, you get $100 for free. A little 10% EV for free right there. And you got some money to play with. There's no fees once you're on and playing. So once your money's in, you're good to go. You're not going to pay any fees on your wins or losses. With that being said, we also have our Discord with all these EV bots. We have a premium plan, and that link will be down below as well. We have a free Discord if you want to check out. Our DraftKings bot is actually free to everyone. Everyone can see these plays without paying a dime. So definitely recommend joining the Discord if you haven't already. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We're trying to build this thing up. Any closing remarks for you guys?
Don, I want to say good job as moderator. Well done. Show look sharp. You did a great job, man. Congratulations.
I wanted to say thank you to everybody in the comments interacting with us. And also thank you to the guys who have been in the general premium chat, crushing it, giving us notifications hourly on injury news and head coaching news and just everything that you guys have been doing in the Discord. And thank you all for being active in the chat tonight.
Yeah, our members are, what makes us such a good community. So definitely thank you all for watching, and thanks again to NoVig for sponsoring this one. I'm excited to get to next week. Hopefully everyone has hopefully all our picks say we go 3-0 week 1. What do you think?
Let's go Jaguars.
Yeah. Let's
All
go
right.
3-0.
See you guys. Thanks.